Hi, my name is Aimee Aul. I work at the Fullerton Community Center, and I'm here to share one of our innovative new programs with you, Art at Home, a course in creativity. So a little bit of background is in order to explain this program and how it fits into our other offerings here, and hopefully how you might be able to replicate this sort of thing at your own center or even in your own creative life. Before I came to the community center, I worked as the longtime museum educator at the Fullerton Museum Center. And that was a city facility for about almost 50 years. And for 30 of those 50 years, I was the museum educator. And last summer, when funding for the museum center was eliminated, staff was either laid off or transferred. And I got lucky. I hit the jackpot and I was transferred over here to the Fullerton Community Center, where I assist now with senior and community programs. So I'm able to bring a lot of the art and music and museum style educational programs to a new audience here at the community center, and it's been really, really fantastic. So one of those programs is this Art at Home, a course in creativity, and we started this during the shutdown when everybody was stuck at home, and there were a whole lot of seniors at home against their will, looking for creative outlets, and who had just heard, one time too many, I think you should take a Zoom class. They don't want to take a Zoom class. They want to work with real materials. They want to make real things, and, we all do. So we thought that would be a really cool thing to do, to distribute these materials and also have it's more than just an art kit. It's actually a 3-part program that has the materials in a bag, and we have a little, a paper bag with some labeling on it, and a online tutorial or a YouTube tutorial that we record ahead of time, and then printed instructions are really important. And we try to bring a little bit of museum education into it, so you're learning something while you're having fun making a project. So when we launched the program, we thought it would be modestly popular. I remember I made the first project, which was the Matisse kit. I made 35 of them, and I thought, well, if it doesn't go really well, if it doesn't go over too well, I could always give out the extras in, Meals on Wheels or something like that. Had very low expectations for this program. Well, it turns out when we started registration for the program, it was like we were selling tickets to the Rolling Stones, the Beatles reunion. We brought back John from the dead, and the phone was like ringing off the hook. It was crazy. So we had like 200 people for that first program. So we realized we really had a need. There's a deep need for creativity, for the arts, especially in the sort of darkest time of the pandemic, when people were feeling really, really isolated. And sort of an unforeseen, really cool blessing that came out of this whole thing was we noticed that people were reserving not just the one kit for themselves, but getting multiples. If you're a senior, age 60 and older, it's free of charge. Younger artists pay $9 per kit. Well, people were reserving like 5, 6, 7, 10 kits. Turns out they were doing them over Zoom with their kids and grandkids. So they got to be connected. So we have this saying at the community center, like, we're still connecting and serving. So we were connecting and serving our patrons, but they in turn were connecting with their loved ones through this art project. So really just cool stuff happening all around. So our first series of Art at Home projects, we focused on the work of older adults, great artists who did some of their best work and some of their most famous work in their older adult years. And there's quite a few of them. We focused on Matisse, Pablo Picasso, Georgia O'Keeffe, Alma Thomas, who else am I missing? Romare Bearden, and a Fullerton-based famous hard edge artist from the 60s and 70s, Florence Arnold. So all of these artists did great work in their older adult years, and we found pictures of these artists to show, everybody likes to see themselves, right? We want to see somebody who looks like me, who talks like me, who is the same gender, the same age as me, accomplishing great things. So we're sure to get images of these artists in their older adult years creating great art, kind of inspiration. So the first one is the one we're going to do today. and I'm going to show you how to make a Matisse-inspired cutout. So you can get your stuff out. And a little bit about Henri Matisse. Like throughout his career, Matisse was always refining, trying to find the ultimate way to unite form with color and line. And it wasn't until he was in his 70s that he finally hit the nail on the head. He started doing the most, I hate to call it primitive, but the most simple thing where you're just taking blocks of color and you're cutting it out. He was also somewhat limited in his abilities to paint and draw and do printmaking as he had in his younger years. But these limitations actually led to new breakthroughs in his style and his design. Plus, as you'll see in your directions, he had this whole bevy of these really attractive young studio assistants to run around and do his bidding and, you know, cut his paper for him and stuff like that. So he did a whole series of these beautiful large paper cutouts that are just exquisitely beautiful. So in your kit, you have a sheet that has some inspiration from some of Matisse's paper cutouts and a variety of different papers, both patterned and solids. Have a little like placemat and a little teeny tiny canvas. We also have my favorite art material in the whole universe, Mod Podge. Mod Podge is a mixture, it's like half glue and half varnish. So the first thing you do is you decide on one of these 5x7 pieces of paper, decide what you want to be your background. So I'm gonna pick that one. All right. Next thing you do, you cover the canvas, get that out of the way. Cover the canvas with one layer of Mod Podge. I love the way this stuff smells. You either love it or you hate it. I think it smells like freshly grated carrots. Not everybody agrees with me there, but I think it's marvelous. Okay, so always with Mod Podge, we do one layer under, one layer over. So we're going to do our background. Here's the texture I decided on. I'm going to put that on there. And a layer over. Mod Podge will go on sort of milky and translucent. It will dry hard and clear. And it looks great when it dries. You might want to rub out some of the bubbles. Don't get this on your clothes or hair. I know this from painful experience. All right, so we get our background. Now we're going to start getting artistic. Some nice sharp scissors and looking at the inspiration for the simplified linear shapes, a combination of organic, meaning curvy lines, and geometric, meaning straight lines. Let's get some Matisse action going here. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. And there's no right or wrong way to do it at this point. You just start cutting. So you're using the scissors as a drawing tool. Don't draw it ahead of time. That will just kill your spontaneity and your creativity. Just jump in and start cutting. Henri Matisse would be so proud of all of us, being brave and bold and just jumping in, making your mark. Okay, well, I'm liking that. Very Matisse-esque. And look, oh, it's doubled. So I'm going to figure out a place to put that. See, and you can move things around plan it out ahead of time. Then I've also got this negative shape I can play with. Let's see what we can do there, shall we? So at this point, you should just be experimenting. There's plenty of paper, and I like to tell people, paper's cheap, just use it, don't be afraid. That's a little too complicated. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. So see, without making any commitments, I'm not gluing anything down yet. I'm just sort of moving things around and deciding what I like and what I don't like. So I'm pretty sure I like this, although I might like it even better if I turn this over. Oh yes, novelty. Novelty is the spice of life. That makes it even better. Okay, but I've got other colors too, and I've got other interesting shapes to think about for my cutout. And look at this, I just dropped both of these by accident on this piece of paper, and I kind of like that. So now, having found this little bit of inspiration, let's see what we can do with that. You can always layer things. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. Okay. A little black goes a long way. I should hold this somewhere else. Yeah. A little black goes a long way. But if you use it nicely, it can just really be a beautiful accent. Okay, this is a little bit like a tendril. Okay, now I'm going to imitate some of these. Maybe they're leaves, maybe they're raindrops. I don't know what they were originally, but for my program, maybe they're even eyes. Maybe they're almonds. Maybe they're bird feathers. I don't know. They're just shapes. So I'm going to cut out a bunch of these and try to decide what I want to do with them. Again, without making any commitments. Just play around with it. So I think I like this. So I have a composition, and we have, again, we talked about organic shape and geometric shapes. Okay, here's our geometric. We've got two squares, and we've got our organic shapes here with the cutouts. So now that I've decided on that, now I'm going to start actually finishing my artwork by gluing everything down. So always one layer under and one layer over. So here I go. Under. And over. We've already got it under. Now I'll go over. A little bit of overlapping there, like that. Oh, little wrinkle. Where about the wrinkle? Okay. And you can always change your mind. Oh, it almost looks like a flag. Always change your mind while you're applying the Mod Podge or moving your pieces around. And you can always add to it later. I'm going to put my negative space down. Always under and over. You want this all to have a unified skin. And that's the beauty of Mod Podge. It kind of pulls in disparate elements and sort of melds them together. All right, now it's time for my black accents. I have enough on my fingertips that it lifts it up by magic. Okay. I still need a little under there. We gave you plenty in your little takeout container there, so don't be shy. Okay, I think I have a finished product. I'm gonna put that over there. Use plenty of it. Make sure you have Mod Podge under and Mod Podge over. Smooth it out. And I am done. Right now, what I have is, it's a little milky because of the Mod Podge. It's drying, slowly. Depending on the humidity, it might take 30 minutes to an hour to dry to a pretty hard finish, but it will look beautiful when you're all done. And it's just a really fun project. All of this paper, or most of it, was just donated. You can use scrap paper, you can even use old magazines, or you can do what Matisse did and mix up some paint and paint some paper, let it dry, and then cut it out. So you get your own sort of custom paint palette. And there you have it, a Matisse paper cutout. So what we did when we first launched this program, we made 200 of these. And for purchasing, we had to purchase the Mod Podge cheap brushes. If you use a brush with Mod Podge, no matter how well you clean it, you'll never be able to use it for anything else again. It just trashes brushes. So don't spend good money on good brushes. Mod Podge, I use the gloss variety. Just get a big container of it and pour it out. And then 5x7 canvas boards. I did a lot of experimenting with different surfaces for this, thinking, it might be cheaper, more cost-effective to do illustration board or mat board, and it really didn't work. They buckled, it just didn't work. Use canvas or even wood if you have it. If you have, a masonite or a wood panel, that could work too. So I would encourage you to look for examples of older adults doing great work. So many of the great artists and musicians, for that matter, of the past and present, they saved their best for the later years of their life, where their wisdom and creativity were kind of unbridled by expectations of career or family or parents. And I hope you can find that your own creativity gets unleashed by that sense of freedom exhibited by Matisse and some of the other artists we've featured in Art at Home, A Course in Creativity. So I want to open it up now to some questions and answers and maybe some feedback on your own creative ideas. So let's have at it.
Well, thank you very much. I think we need to, there we go.
Hi, here
Hello,
I
hello,
am.
Aimee. Thank you for being here. As a fellow Titan, well, you
Yay.
know, yay, go Titans, right? All right, so we've got a couple of quick questions that we want
Good.
to go through with you. So great. So a couple of quick feedbacks. Thank you for the good scissors, Betty says. Mine were old and dull, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. All right.
Makes a
So
big difference. Yeah.
it makes a big difference, right? So the first question we have is, what is the most popular at-home kit?
Gosh, there's been a number of them. I think one of our most popular was this one. I brought some examples. We did these fabric decoupage coasters, and what we discovered in the evaluations after the project is that some of the seniors who hadn't participated in past projects because they were a little too complicated did this one because it was a little more simple. We had parents and caregivers working on this with some Alzheimer's patients and getting them engaged, and just the texture and the sensory experience of making the coasters. So that was the most popular one. We also did a 4th of July patriotic door decor, which was really, really fun and popular too.
How fun is that? Can
Yeah.
you participate in the program if you don't live in Orange County?
Yes, the program is free for seniors 60 plus in Orange County. And then patrons who live in other counties, it's the $9, like the fee for younger artists. But yeah, it's open.
$9 seems pretty reasonable for everything that it
Oh yeah,
includes.
and we make it so that everything you need is in the bag. Like you don't have to go, scourging through your kitchen drawers to find, a bottle of glue or tape or something like that. It's all inclusive.
That's impressive. That's awesome. Do any other cities participate like this in a similar program?
I think there's I'm not that I know of exactly like this. I think this is kind of unique, but I know a lot of people are experimenting with different take-home kits. I know the Muckenthaler Cultural Center here in Fullerton has been doing a senior art program through the Anaheim Public Library and other distribution that's been really popular.
All right. Well, my last question is going to be this: is in Fullerton, what other programs, like art programs, does Fullerton offer outside of this?
Oh my gosh. Well, as you know, we have Cal State Fullerton. They have the OLLI, the Lifelong Learning Institute, that has a lot of really fascinating classes, including hands-on art classes. The Muckenthaler Cultural Center, which I mentioned before, has hands-on art classes as well as gallery tours and lecture. And then my former workplace, the Fullerton Museum Center, has recently reopened as a private nonprofit, and they are jumpstarting their education program. So be watching for arts education happening there.
And I did not know about the one in Fullerton. So, that's in our backyard. So I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, Fullerton Museum Center is the home of the Leo Fender Gallery. And so there's the whole electric guitar history. That's where I got to kind of do a lot of music stuff.
Well, good. Well, Aimee, thank you very much for today's presentation. We hope it was, for all the attendees that are on, it was valuable and fun and exciting. And on the off chance that you did not receive the swag bag, you can check with your local senior center and see if they have any left over.